What I'm going to do this morning, very, very briefly, before Mark takes over and he's previewed it for me. He's got just an awesome, awesome keynote. What we're going to talk about are that kind of Google Earth. Because so many of the sessions today are going to be relatively granular. I thought it might be fun to start way high up, and we're going to start way high up in digital. We're going to talk a little bit about the smartphone landscape, and then I'll turn you over to Mr. Mark. Uh-oh. Hey, Phil, how do I advance it?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I'm guessing it's like
No, see, that didn't work. Oh, no. It's really bad if Phil can't figure it out.
If I can't figure it out, we're hosed.
Oh, noes. It won't advance. It's a really great deck.
It really is. It's cool.
You can kind of take my word for that.
The numbers are compelling.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I actually know all the stats by heart, so I suppose I can just recite them to you. Oh, wait, yeah, there you go. If you just, yeah, I can just
hide under the table, Justin.
Awesome. Great. That's fine.
Wow,
Okay,
we're
so,
professional.
wow. Thank you, Justin. So, this is mobile's moment. And the reason why those of us who are extremely enthused about mobile know that it's mobile's moment is not just because it's cool and fun, it's because there are now more mobiles worldwide than televisions or personal computers. That's amazing. And you can kind of see the green there. About 340 million smartphones worldwide. The rest are feature phones, or as we sometimes fondly call them, dumb phones. Okay? And of course, there we go. 7 billion smartphone applications downloaded last year. 29%, the vast majority were Apple. The rest, other. Of those applications, a lot of them were free. Who's a developer in the room? A smartphone developer. I'm really sorry to tell you that. That's kind of sad, right? People are getting very accustomed to free apps. Some of those are branded apps, and that's okay, because the advertiser just wants to get his brand on your phone. But the average cost worldwide, and by the way, that skews very differently North America. North American apps, happily for all of us, are more expensive. In some other parts of the world, they're a lot cheaper, but that just gives you the average. From that, by the way, that data is from a very recent study by Chet and Sharma. So we're going to build out a little table here so that if we extrapolate that, that's 13 billion and change in revenue, right, for smartphone apps. So I thought it'd be fun to compare that to some other sectors that we're familiar with. Music worldwide. So you can see now that smartphone app revenue is beginning to approach music, which is pretty huge.
Should be able to use a down arrow.
No, that didn't work for us so
Okay,
well.
never mind.
Movies. Okay, so these are in the 20 billion revenue worldwide. Internet content, I was fascinated to discover things like World of Warcraft are actually bigger than movies or music. So they're growing very rapidly. How many of you would have guessed that? I was really surprised by that. Yeah, the World of Warcraft people are going, yeah, I knew that. Guilty laughter. I was also very fascinated to see that video gaming is bigger than any of those preceding sectors. Wii, Nintendo, PlayStation, and when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? So, there is, however, in this landscape, the big mama jama, text messaging. That is revenues from text messaging worldwide. Far, far, far outstrips anything else on the previous slides. And somewhat entertaining, if we combine video gaming, internet content, movies, and music, text messaging revenues, so the marketers in the room, this is big for you to understand. This is where the vast bulk of mobile marketing revenue is in text messaging. It's not necessarily the sexiest thing in the world. Scott says, yes, it is. But it is the big player. How do we get to that? 150,000 text messages are sent worldwide each second. And I figure I've been talking to you up here for somewhere around 4 minutes. And in that 4.5 minutes, global text messaging revenues hit $1 million every 4.5 minutes. I was telling some folks right before I got up to speak that a recent study, Finland, everybody know that's where text messaging was invented back in the early 90s? Vanessa's nodding, she knew that. Now in Finland, if you exclude the population 8 years of age and below, so we're figuring they can't read and write very much quite yet, if you exclude that population, literally 100% of the population of Finland is actively text messaging. And that's where the rest of the world appears to be going as well. So now we're going to back up a little bit and talk about the other end of the spectrum, which is smartphones. This might be a little bit hard to read, I apologize for that. The gray bars on the right in each operating system are 2009. Symbian continues to be worldwide associated with Nokia, the biggest operating system in use. However, they are shrinking. This tan bar, 2007, 2008, 2009, this data is from Chetan Sharma. Nokia has acquired this week the web browser Novara. We're going to see if it can break their bad slide below 50%. So again, this is just a very brief recap. RIM, BlackBerry, continues to grow like crazy. They are currently building a plant in Brazil, so watch them to do something similar in South America to what they've done recently in Mexico. Very exciting. Apple, who's going to buy an iPad? Really? Stick them way up. Come on, who's going to buy an iPad?
We'll
Okay.
only mock you.
Okay. Will it transform the media industry? To be seen. Fascinating. Winfo 7. I love that it has this name because it reminds me of delicious noodles. Winfo 7. That's the new moniker for the new Windows 7 operating system, which is getting fantastic buzz. I was one of those people, I will admit it, who earlier this year and late last year was like dogging Windows, like, who would ever want to develop for Windows? Ugh. But this new operating system is getting fantastic buzz.
Can you define buzz?
Define buzz, that's a really good question. Folks who have seen it hands-on at some of the shows, it's not going to be available until later this year, have been extremely impressed with it. If you want to hear more about that from me later, just let me know. And that pretty much wraps it up. I'm going to turn it over to Mark. We've got one more slide, but it's about Palm, and it's just really sad.
Put it on.
I thought Phil was giving me like the
5
jerk.
minutes. It's 5 minutes.
All
Five
right,
minutes.
all right.
And in case, I don't think this slide's going to last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No.
So Palm, is Palm dead phone walking? Very, very sad for those of us who are enthused about Palm and the new things they've come out with. Late last year and this year, Steve's making a sad face. Some of the analysts are actually putting their stock price at $0 per share. So very, very sad. Now, I get to turn it over to Mark from Best Buy.